Testing, testing, testing 1 2 family. Testing 1 2. Good evening, YouTube family. I'm waiting on the monitor to let me know that I am one or close to the monitor, and then we're going to get started. Uh, for those of you who ride with me, thank you. For those of you who I'm gonna see on the other side, uh, I'll see y'all on the other side. Um, so thank you for tuning in. Um, this is going to be an actual presentation. I apologize in advance for not promoting it, but I'm glad I didn't because what ended up happening was uh, some things came up. Wasn't feeling good for a couple of days, and then some other things came up behind that. And so, with that being said, the day that I was going to actually promote it and come on with the live, I that never happened. So I by me not promoting it, that helped because I didn't put out there a presentation that wasn't going to happen. So I'm just waiting on the monitor to catch up with me for what I'm seeing, and then we're going to go along with the presentation. Um, One of the things, family, that uh, I wanted to do with this live is to redo a video that I have done in the past that the sound didn't come out right at all. And so this is, you know, this is actually a redoing of a previous video. So with that in mind, I want to thank you guys for um, being patient with me once again. Uh, so as I, uh, soon as the monitor catch up with me, we ready to roll, family. And then I'm got to do my sound check, and then we ready to roll. I'm hoping I can get started by 6 because this is at least a 4 hour presentation. So I want to be done by I want to be done with it by 11, but I'm 6 to 10. That's 4 hours. So that's what I'm looking at. Um, so if you're live with me, just hang on with what's happening uh with this with this monitor screen here. Let's see here. Let's go here. So what I need to do here then I'm doing here. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. Uh, Let me see what happened when that I do that. I got to try some things, family, because this thing taking all day. And I mean, every time I deal with this family, I got to deal with this. One of the issues is I only have one computer, so a lot of times what's be happening is I got to switch back and forth um, to and I mean the monitor's right in front of me, but it's still somewhere else, and so yeah, I don't know where I'm at, you know. Um, but again, family, this is going to be a re-upload or a re-presentation of a presentation that I've done earlier, and the sound wasn't right, and I'm trying to get a sound bite now so I know where I'm at with my sound, and then and then I can move forward. Uh, all right, fam. So I got the monitor halfway caught up with me, and so I'm gonna have to heavily edit this bad boy. Uh, I want to apologize again for the slow delay. Uh, when I first went into this thing, I had the wrong setting on YouTube. I had to back out of that and start all over, and then I lost it. Well, the monitor and me weren't on the same page. That was the problem. So I have a buffering issue, but we're gonna get through all that. So peace and blessings, family. This is another J Moppet TV live presentation. It's brought to you by J Moppet TV Experience, where you get opinionated commentary with a little bit of facts, a little bit of fiction, and we try to make it fun, y'all. We try to put it together for your enjoyment. As I said in the beginning, I'm gonna have to heavily edit this, so where this will be the start of it. Uh, hang on, family. One more. One, hang on, family. I'm gonna take this out so it won't interfere with me. I keep on moving. All right. So this presentation was done November 24th, I believe. Let me cut this mic down a little bit. Testing, testing, testing. Yeah, this presentation was done around about November of 2024, and the sound was really, really messed up. And because of that, uh, I had to redo it. So this is what I'm trying to do tonight. And I got about 66 uh, PowerPoint slides on here. So I'm hoping I can be finished by 10 or 10:30. But I'm gonna try to go with the slides and let them be my guide. So because this was my first long presentation where I did the research and the whole 9 yards. The Lamar Jackson presentation, that was cool too. But this was after that. I was working on that at the same time. And so basically what was going on, family, is I was doing both of them at the same time, but the Lamar Jackson came out, first, and it was a shorter version. And I had fun doing that. Um, but this was the tee off in a sense that what happened, family, was that I wasn't going to even do a YouTube. Like I told y'all on one of my other videos, I wasn't going to even do a YouTube presentation. Uh, my 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 thing was, uh, I thought there was too many people doing it, and I just had some negative thoughts about it. Uh, but I was fascinated by it because I was watching other people's presentations. So, you know, with Brother Ben and all that going on, uh, they kind of got me involved with it. So let me skip. I'm gonna skip and go back because I want to share something with y'all. Uh, these are screenshots of videos that I was watching from, as you can see on top, Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richard. Now, Indisputable is a YouTube channel that will highlight things that go on uh, in the black community uh, that is perpetrated by Caucasian people against black people. That that ain't no better way to say that. Uh, Now, this brother don't just highlight those things. I mean, if it's a white person that get wronged by the police, he'll put that up. If someone sent it to him, and he is just part of a bigger show called TYT. But anyway, so I watching his channel. I was watching Sarnetta. I was watching Brother Ben sometime. Of course, I was watching New Black World Order, which is my homeboy in my area, you know. Uh, and uh, so I was watching some channels. But anyway, I saw a video on Dr. Rashad Rich's uh, show where it ended up being uh, that this lady, it was two cars going through a drive-through. It was it was a black family and it was a white family in front of them. White lady, older white lady, and a white man. And so they was in front of the black family. And so as they were going through the drive-through, the white lady, and I don't know who was driving. I mean, it's been a while back now, so I think the lady was driving, but I'm not sure. But what happened was they they made a wrong turn, and I'm gonna say they made a wrong turn because that's ended up what it looked like when all said was done. They made a wrong turn, and the black people behind them, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if they was just decided to, not to go through the drive-through, change their mind. Uh, they wanted to maybe go and wait on the inside. They did not know what was going on with these people. I don't know, and I have to say on this presentation, I don't know uh, if if um, the lady put the backup lights on like she was trying to back. That I don't know. That I didn't get that part. But anyway, but the black lady kept going when she turned off from the drive-through lane. This lady parked her car, got her and her husband to get out. The husband looked like he won't really whip it, but that was his wife, so he won't go leave out there by himself. So I feel him on that. But this lady actually stood in the drive-through lane and refused to let this black woman and her children go and get their food because she turned off and just expecting them to let her back in queue or in line, not knowing. I mean, they not knowing what the heck she was trying to do. Okay, all right, family. So when I saw that, and it was some other videos that the guy was showing, uh, that uh, allowed me to just question something in my mind. Uh, one of them was in Henrico, and I'm in Virginia, so one of them was in Henrico, Virginia. Uh, some of these things, when people send the videos in, they be trying to sensationalize them, and I got that. But you see the dynamics if you just look at it with an open mind. So one of the things that, other than this lady in the drive-through, well, we had a guy uh, that him and some white guy was at a lake. They were friends, and they was at a lake, and they began to plan with the black guy, and the guy couldn't swim. Apparently, he told him he couldn't swim. They were trying to hold him down in the water as if they were playing, but their plan was trying to drown him, and he panicked, and that was a big issue because when the parents finally found out what happened, when the black family found out what happened, they confronted the white family, and they tried to downplay. Oh, they were just playing. He was like, my child could have been killed. How is this playing? So, and then we had another incident. And I can't really make it. I can't really make it any bigger than what it is without messing up the screen. So I don't want to deal with that part. So we're gonna I don't know what to say now, changing. Uh, anyway, so what happened, family, was the daggone uh what happened, family, was the daggone the lady, she had to, uh both families that called the cops on each other. The white lady, she called the cops on the black lady because she felt like she was, being hysterical, and the black lady called the cops on the white lady because he felt like she was trying to harm her son. So that was a crazy issue. So then on top of that, and this is really strange, family. On top of that, there was an issue where a truck driver, this is an 18-wheeler truck driver, he didn't know that the, the authorities were chasing him. And they wasn't chasing him in the sense that, I think the only violation of what it was that he didn't have the lights or something on the trailer, was something about the trailer. And he didn't know that they was really following him till the very last minute. But at the very last minute, he saw a whole bunch of cops behind him, so he was just trying to find a place to pull over that was safe. Okay, so he didn't pull over right away, and of course that made them think he was trying to. It made them think he was trying to you know not be a in compliance. So, but that wasn't the case at all. He just didn't realize that they were after they was on him like that, and so they they um they did they put the little things out there that bust to stop the tires. That's how they got him to stop. So when they got him to stop, it was a state trooper and a female trooper. They were the first ones on the scene. They had requested backup from a local police department, but by the time they got him stopped, they were just arriving. Well, when the guy arrived, he arrived with a K-line. K9 unit. Okay. So the state trooper that was in charge of the traffic stop, because that's basically what it was, he told the guy that he saw him get out. He saw him get out with the dog. He said, "We're not gonna need the K9 unit on this. We good, right?" So the guy had the black guy getting out of the truck, turning around and backing up, getting on his knees and backing up or whatnot. And he was the one giving the command. So the dude with the K9 who was told by that particular trooper, we don't need the K9. He came and brought the K9 closer to the scene and allowed the K9 to attack the black guy as he was backing up to the other cop that was giving the orders. And then his reasoning, oh, he won't comply. I think it was a good bite. So I never did find out what the end of that was, but it was definitely a lawsuit because it was. I mean, the body cam from the commanding state trooper, it could be heard clearly saying, "We don't need the K9. You don't need to sit the K9 on this guy." And he did it anyway. Uh, so I began to think. I'm like, the white lady in the drive-through, that would perplex me more than the state trooper with the guy with the K9 unit, because you know they love to uh humiliate black men, even if they complain. I mean, as far as he's concerned, I'm gonna bring the dog out here and I'm gonna stick him on. God is sitting there running. He don't even know the. Excuse me, family. He don't even know the whole. He don't even know the whole reason behind what happened. And I was thinking, I said, you know, white folks begin to have a problem with black folks. Because I begin to look at all the other stuff that Dr. Richard had on his channel, and all of these situations, were showing me that there's something going on in the minds of Caucasian people that they just got a problem with us. So, so the first thing I said, well, maybe white folks are tired of us. Maybe white folks are just tired of us, and they just fed up, and they want it to be over already. You know how they talk. And I don't know if Trump was in office or not. I think he might have been because I mentioned him in the presentation, you know. But the thing that uh the thing that that amazed me about this thing when I started thinking about it, I was like, wow, this is this is this is something to think about, you know? So anyway, so I've listened to Brother Ben and listened to my brother with the New Black World Order. I had other people that I was listening to, as far as just watching and enjoying the YouTube as from a from a watching point of view. You know, uh, I'm like, okay, uh, uh, this this is this this is interesting here. You know. Anyway, so with that in mind, fam, what I came to the conclusion that not only white folks were tired of us, but they was pretty much uh they was pretty much being annoyed by it, right? So with that in mind, I decided to do a a YouTube slideshow, learn how to use PowerPoint to put it together, and I uh, I came up with this presentation, and like I said, when I first put it together, uh, the sound wasn't right at all, and you couldn't hear it, and whole 9 yards. So you know, it is what it is on that level. So anyway, all right. So so let me give my disclaimer out first. I'm kind of going back because I'm trying to get into the meat and potatoes of this. This is a pretty long presentation, family. So the opinions shared on this channel are my own and are meant for entertainment purposes only. While I sprinkle a pinch of facts, a little fiction, and a generous helping of fun, I hope you enjoy this presentation with an open mind. Please note, I am not responsible for anyone taking my commentary as serious advice. So sit back, relax, and remember, it's just my opinion. So, and just my opinion is what JMOP stands for. I'm glad I used JMOP because somebody else using just my opinion. So, I guess we both got the same idea at the same time. Uh, so, with that being said, family, uh, I've had many names for this channel, but JMOP TV Experience is going to be the name from now on. That's going to be my calling card. J Moppet TV Experience. It might be J Moppet TV Experience presentation, J Moppet TV Experience live presentation, but J Moppet TV Experience, that's going to be the TV channel, the YouTube channel. Okay, so that being said, uh, family, if you want to get in contact with me for any reason at all, good or bad, cussing me out, applauding me, however you want to do it, I have two email addresses specifically for this channel. Uh, one of them is jmopping99@gmail.com. jmopping99@gmail.com. And I just added another email for this channel. And it's jmoptvx. All small case. All the emails are small case. jmoptvx@gmail.com. That's my other email for this channel. I also have a Facebook uh, page for this channel too. The next presentation that I do, I'm gonna try to incorporate that link. So because a lot of times I'll put I'm gonna put information about what I'm doing on that Facebook page. Okay, so see where we want to go. So the title of my presentation, family. Uh, yeah, hold on to your socks for this one. Hold on to your socks for this one. Are white folks tired of black folks in America? The Yakub Methodology. I'm gonna say it again in case y'all didn't hear me. Are white folks tired of black folks in America? the Yakub Methodology. Now, my original title was White Folks Tired of Black Folks in America and what are our options? And I'm gonna get into that as I go through this presentation. Uh, but what made me add the the Yakub methodology in this family was in this presentation. Like I said, I try to, even in my opinionation, even in my opinionated commentary, I try to show a correlation between the mindset of Yakub and the mindset of Caucasian people in relationship to their being tired of, disliking of, even hatred of black folks in America. Okay? And for those of you who have your own opinion of Yakub, I'm all with that. I'm all welcoming that. But all I ask you to do, since you are watching my presentation, is just have an open mind and let me give you an opinion of how I believe that the reason that white folks are tired of black folks in America is tied to the Yakub mentality, right? Which a lot of people, they don't even want to deal with that, but that's neither here or there. I'm hoping when I get through tonight, you'll see it from a different perspective. Okay. All right. So as we keep moving, uh, as we keep moving, what I want y'all to do is, uh, I redid this live presentation, and when I did it, I kind of like did a slide that was the same slide. I didn't realize, so I apologize for that. Um, uh, as you can see, this was my old email address, and the like button and the subscribe button. Now that my volume is much better, like and subscribe, family. I work on the I work on the video presentation in the future. Uh, I can always do a slideshow, which is what I'm doing tonight. And I had planned on it to be a slideshow, but before I bring the slideshow on, I like to know what I'm looking at through the monitor. So, you know, that's that's where I'm going with this. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, uh, that being said, family, uh, I keep going back and forth here. Let's get this presentation. So, when I decided to do this presentation, I knew that if I was going to deal with the subject of Yakub, that I would have to use uh, the book entitled Message to the Black Man in America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because that's where, he has a lot of a lot about Yakub and his other, like Message to Muhammad speaks and stuff like that. But Message to the Black Man in America is where that was the book I read or where I first got it from. So that's what I chose to use as my source of putting this presentation together. So um, when I first put this together, I had planned on doing a series of our white folks tired of black folks in America, and I actually did one more, maybe two more, but I know I did one more, which is to talk about Ron DeSantis. And that one I have to edit it a little more, but it's up. It's on my channel. You can check it out. Uh, so hang on, family. All right, fam. I had to turn the monitor down because the monitors caught up with me now. Um, so, as a matter of fact, hang on, family. All right, I'll mute that out. All right, so excuse me, fam. I had to mute the tablet out. And once I get a sound check, I don't need the sound in the tablet no more. I just needed to watch it. Uh, and my volume is maintained the same level, so I'm good. Uh, so I was going to do a series of our white folks tired of black folks in America. I was going to do it on, coming at it from different angles. Uh, but I didn't want to do no more than maybe 3 to 5 of them at the most. You know, I I was real um, satisfied with the Ron DeSantis one I did. I was real proud of that one, and it's on the channel. So, well, what made me want to do this, family, is like I said, after I saw what happened with the lady in the drive-through and the guy sticking the dog on the guy, and there was no need for it. The children try to drown the black kid, and although all these uh, videos were about those particular things, I mean, that was in 24. This is 2025, and between Trump's first election, Biden's subsequent win, and then Trump's re-election, I mean, white folks just been showing us that, they got a problem with us, and for real, we always had a problem with them, you know. But anyway, um, a part of that I can understand because white folks don't really care about suffering. As far as they're concerned, suffering is not something that you cry about. It's something that you grow from, move on, and so forth and so forth. The problem I got with that, and I understand that, problem I got with that is that we seem to be always doing the suffering, you know. Uh, but that's their take on it, I mean, one of the things that you got to be, uh, you got to look at from the Jewish point of view. Pale Jews, I mean, they went through what they went through, but now they in control of a lot of things, and making a lot of controlling decisions about other people's lives. You know, uh, it's an old saying, you can't keep a good man down. So they look at it like, well, you just get up, brush yourself off, and keep moving. Now, that's all well and good, but if you keep knocking a person down over and over and over, they don't really have a chance to get up and brush themselves off. So as they get ready to get up, you're knocking them back down. So that's six on one hand and half a dozen on the other. But there's a reason for that, I believe, and I believe that reason is tied to Yakub mentality. And so that's what uh that's what I am uh gonna try to do in this presentation is to bring that to a forefront. So I'm on slide 8, family. The inspiration to this subject matter is and has always been YouTube channel of Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richards. Now, to be clear, he does not just highlight black and white racial situ- situation, which I explained earlier. He highlights mean-spirited, disruptive behavior between people, period. However, it seems that more information comes to Dr. Richards concerning either racist cops, racist male, female Karen, or other people in authority acting racist towards black people. In the next slide, you will see some of the thumbnails of the videos that I have that have me questioning. And I'm going to skip that because I've already shared that with you. Please note, family, that since I began this presentation and my completing it, I have there have been far worse examples that Dr. Richard have showcased, mostly fatal police shootings, black children being abused in various school systems, banking while black and white privileged police calls. And let me give you a little snippet on white privileged police calls. Uh, a white privileged police call is when a white woman, preferably, but even a white male, call the police on somebody black without knowing all the facts. And so they're uh, sensationalizing the situation, make uh, the police uh, go after the black person with all, with all get out, but it's based on what somebody else have said, and they don't have the facts together. I just watched a video the other day. Uh, this is a guy who's a lawyer who he get people send him videos of similar situations of you might would say overzealous cops, right? And in this situation, we had a we had two dynamics. Ironically, there was a white guy who was kind of like being a little obnoxious. I don't know if that's the proper word, but he was being, he was being a pain in the ass in front of this convenience store. But when he was confronted, he said he was attacked by a black dude, and he pointed in a direction away from the store. I don't know if he saw the black person walking away or not. I have no idea of knowing that, but that's what he told the people when he was confronted. But it appeared that the initial police call was about him. When the police confronted him, he said, "No, I ain't saying what he said. I didn't hear what he said, but it seemed like he was saying, well, it wasn't me. I was being attacked by this black guy for no reason." Da 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 da. So when they went over there to confront the black guy was deaf, and he had cerebral palsy. So they attacked the guy. They knocked him to the ground. They punched him in the face. They tased him several times. I mean, I don't even know if the dude lived or not because his body was actually limp when they finished with him. So he had a white girlfriend. That ain't make matters worse. I mean better. That made it worse. He had a white girlfriend, right? She came and was trying to explain to them what might have happened. So she said, well, he has a disability. So they said, well, what kind of disability? He said he's deaf, which means he can't hear, and he has cerebral palsy. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. That's how they handle it. That's how they responded. Oh, whatever, you know. Uh, because see, the guy bum rushed the black guy because he wasn't answering them, but he didn't know how to respond to him because they weren't speaking sign language and they didn't know he was deaf, and he didn't know they was trying to communicate with him. But after she told him what the situation was, they were like, okay, all right, whatever, you know. Like now, how we gonna cover this up? That's like what I got out of it. But then when she tried to communicate with them more, they told her, if you don't get back on the sidewalk, we're gonna take you to jail. And at first I didn't understand that, but then I started thinking if they would have took her to jail, that would have been the only key to anybody trying to have any type of help for this guy who was already um, can't hear and got cerebral palsy. When they get him to the police station, they're not gonna mention all this to their superior officers because they want to keep on abusing him. They might want to kill him, you know. But so she had to maintain her composure so she could stay out, so she could advocate for him, and that was smart on her part. Um, but anyway, the guy didn't know how the case turned out because it wasn't over, yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's white privilege police calls. Another one, everybody know about this one is when the lady she called the cops on the guy that was watching the birds. They both was watching the birds, and she told the cop, "He's about to. He's a big black guy. He's about to do all this." Hey, and the guy was tall, but he wasn't big. I mean, not the way you know. Anyway, all right. So go to the next slide here, and then we're gonna get into the presentation. Uh, so I want to give a shout out to my man Black Magic. Just watching an awesome video about him. I think last night. My man Bobby Trossett, Bobby Baltimore. He does he has a YouTube channel specifically about the Baltimore Ravens, and not only, and I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm also a Baltimore Ravens fan because I like Lamar Jackson. Brother Sanchez, Brother Sanchez do some powerful presentations. Each one teach one. Another brother, I think he was once a part of the Army Raw Squad. Powerful he do powerful presentation. My man Seven Beaumont is understanding. He do some awesome metaphysics. When I do a metaphysics presentation, I got to shout him out because he one of my teachers, along with Brother Bobby Hemming. New Black World Order, my man King Shah doing his thing. Newsroom changed their channel. I think it's Newsroom 1.16, 1.1.6, I think 101.6, I think they have changed their YouTube channel. They got some nice videos. Of course, Sarnetta TV. I mean, he's the king of the conscious community. I don't look whatever them guys talk about Sarnetta. I'm not gonna go along with that because I do know that if it wasn't for Sarnetta, regardless of what you think about him, a lot of these conscious people that are conscious now, they wouldn't be having might not be having channels on here. Because shout out to Sarnetta. Straight Game TV, my man Delray Richardson, who is a Tupac fan, avid Tupac fan, and avid advocate for Tupac. But he also, when it comes to trials and legal procedures in the hip hop community, he always try to give you a factual uh, evaluation of that. And then of course Dr. Rashad Ritchie with Undisputed. Shout out to those guys. Uh, I watch a few more channels now. My man Yusef, brother Yusef, because I'm in the esoteric occult stuff, right? So brother Yusef, you know, yeah, he's a bad brother. All right. So all right, so this is almost an hour into this. Again, it took me a while to get started, uh, but I'm just getting started. So, um, so let's get into the folk and to the presentation, family. Uh, we're gonna have to go deep. It's gonna be a long one. I'm looking to be on here till about 10 o'clock at least. It's 7 now, almost 7. And so sit back, relax, and watch me work. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I know you can hear me because I can hear myself. Ha ha ha. Finally got that straight, family. You just don't know how it makes me feel. But let's keep it moving, family. Let's keep it moving. Our white folks tired of black folks in America. The Yakub Methodology. Now, what I'm trying to correlate in this presentation is how the methodology of Yakub is causing Caucasian to act the way they do towards black folks. That's pretty much that's pretty much the premise. That's pretty much the whole premise of my presentation. And you'll see what I'm talking about as I go along. Uh, hang on, fam. Wait on this. Okay. So let's keep it moving, family. So one thing of it is of importance to note is that if in fact white folks are truly tired of black folks in America, then 9 times out of 10, white folks will have a plan of action. Because unlike black folks, most of the time, who sit and wait on unseen forces to help them out, white folks take matters in their own hands. Now I'm gonna pause right here for a minute. I know a lot of people might not like that statement I just made, but I got to be I got to be somewhat direct when it comes to this situation. Uh, Black folks like to wait on this and wait on that. They like to wait on this person and wait on that person. They like to wait on this entity and wait on that entity. White folks don't do no waiting. And I'm not gonna say that they don't do waiting in another um, paradigm, but that whole thing is take action because that's what gets things done. Taking action. So that's what I meant by that statement. White folks uh, take matters in their own hands. They galvanize amongst their people to try to alleviate, eliminate, or neutralize any persistent problem that they might have amongst themselves, even if their problem is with their own very own people. And that's true. You know, I mean, um, that whole thing is if there's something that needs to be done. You know, I just when I was listening to Junior Bush make his his speeches. His father and Reagan used to always say, um, when we make a decision, we need to ask ourselves, are we on the right side of history? you know. And then they say our grandchildren and our children will be the one who answer that. And I didn't understand all of what they meant. I understood some of it, but now I understand all of it. And it is a simple formula of we're gonna make a decision. We believe that our decision that we make is gonna be good and right for our people. They don't. We ain't in that equation when they make those type of decisions. But our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren will be the one who will pick this up and say, "Yeah, they made a right decision or they made a wrong decision." But again, white folks ain't waiting for the sky to open up. They waiting on all of them to get together and say, "Yeah, this is what we gonna do," and they move on it. And we'll talk about that some more uh, as we move forward. Um, so, if in fact white folks have a plan of action to deal with the black folks that they are tired of, then the question becomes, what is the response of the black folks? What is the black folks' plan of action or reaction? Get it? If white folks got a plan, if they have a plan for the black folks that they are tired of dealing with, then what is the black folks' plan? And what is their response to their plan? So we both need to be planning. If someone is tired of you and don't want to deal with you no more, and they're gonna have a plan for you, but you need to have a plan for yourself too, and or a plan for them. Uh, that's just uh, that's just you know that's just how that goes. You know. Uh, Now, so I only have 6 thumbnails of out of nearly 8,000 videos detailing white racist attitudes towards black. And again, among those videos, there were also videos of other races getting disrespected by white folks and other races or people disrespecting black folks. However, and sometimes, black folks had an issue with a pale Arab or Latino or Asian, you know, that's what I meant by that. However, the majority is of black folks being disrespected by white folks and other races. Okay, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Right at 7 o'clock. So I got 66 of these bad boys, and I ain't even got started yet. And I want to finish this. So what I'll do, I'm gonna try and stay on here long enough to finish this, and and then I have to upload it and edit it before I can publish it. So it'll be a while before the new one be published. But I'll I put a notice on Facebook. Uh, so that being said, family, let's see if we can make some sense out of how black folks can deal with this issue of white folks being tired of them, and how can or how will white folks deal with them being tired of black folks. Now, all this must have started from something or somewhere. So, if in fact white folks are really tired of black folks, what caused them to feel that way? What is what was it something that happened all of a sudden? And these are questions that I'm asking to kind of like put in context of where I'm going with this. But let me go back. Now, all of this must have started from something or somewhere. In other words, if white folks are tired of black folks in America, Did it start when Trump became president? Did it start when Bush was president? Did it start when Reagan was president? Did it start when Nixon was president? And those are Republican presidents, so that's why I'm saying mention those. Um, where did it start at? How long ago? And does it make a difference? You know what I mean? Because where we at now is if 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 something started 10 years ago, but it's still doing the same thing, well, it don't make a difference if nobody took time out to try to solve the issue. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, so did black folks do something so outrageous that led white folks to decide that's it, dag nabbit. I'm tired of these niggas. They gotta go. I mean, did that happen? So we gotta ask ourselves this question. All right. So in order for us to understand the what and or the why, we gotta figure out where and how it all started. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, family. This is a doozy. Hope you got the popcorn, but this is a good doozy. Uh, it's the first time I've ever done a presentation where even the even the dag even the daggone PowerPoint is acting up, man. You know. So now with that being said, family, I'm going to say this. I consider myself very pro black. Very pro black. This does not mean I'm anti white, but whenever and if I encounter a white person who appears to act in a racist or anti black way towards me, then I will know how to conduct myself in their presence. I mean, you're not going to try to talk down or belittle me, and I don't say anything back. I have no rebuttal for you. I can understand you're not liking me, but I'm not going to like you no more than you like me. And that's facts, fam. You know, I don't try to go out here and pick no argument with white folks, but a lot of times I can tell when they try to be demeaning and whatnot. I just try to set them straight on that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Sometimes I let it go because you know at the end of the day, well, I'll show you what I'm talking about at the end of the presentation. Then I'll get to the real end of the day. So let's move on. Uh, and that's one of the problems I think black folks have that go along, get along, black folks have with the pro black people is that they think that our mentality is that we just want to hate white folks, bang on white folks. No, that's not what that is. At least from my understanding of it. Pro black means that we understand that we're dealing with somebody who, as Kendrick Lamar said, is not like us. And so if they are not like us, and many of them don't like us, then why should we be trying to run behind them trying to like them? You know, and we need to have an attitude where, okay, if you don't like us, okay, the hell with you too. You know, see, we can do each other like that, but we don't want to deal with that Caucasian like that. And I'm saying, if we can say the hell with each other over sometimes selfish shit, we do the Caucasian the same way. But see, and I'm gonna say it, I know somebody ain't gonna like it. A lot of y'all want to be their friend and want to hold their hand and want to be in their company and the whole 9 yards. Trump got something for all that. Just watch and see. All right. I mean, I know a little bit of white folks' history. Thanks to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Thanks to uh, Dr. Malachi Z. York. Thanks to uh, Dr. Ben. Thanks to Dr. John Henry Clark. You know, thanks to Dr. Phil Valentine. Dr. Qua, uh, Dr. Quasi. Thanks to and definitely thanks to my man Bobby Hemming. You know, uh, and all those teachers back then were pro-black. They were trying to teach us black history from a black perspective. And you want to go down that line, but it's a racist thing, fine. But we have a history. We have had a history. We have been on the planet before they was even born. So, and this is something we need to have in our own mind, our own mindset. Brother was talking about that last night on Brother Rich, his Radio Rich now. Still Black Magic, but I mean, that's what he was talking about, man. Anyway. So I know a little bit of my own people history too. So I'm not going to go along to get along just because you as a white person want to be in control over me. And hell, I may not have done anything to warrant you want to control over me. And see, that's you got to put this out here before we get going. That's part of the Yakub ideology. They want to have control over us, and and when they can't have that or feel like there's a problem with that, then we become the problem. We become the problem. You know, like when a police walk up on a black person, so let me see your ID, and the black person said, "Well, why you need to see my ID? What kind of crime have I done?" On the surface, they say, "Well, you not being compliant, right?" I'm not gonna disagree with that part, but a Caucasian people can say that, and they don't get the same response. They'll get to going back and forth for a minute before they get upset with that Caucasian. The minute you try the same thing, you supposed to, stifle yourself and bow your head and look down to the ground and do what I say, boy. That's the mentality that they have. And when they have those situations where they got control like that, they show you that. They show you that. You know. So uh okay, so let me see. So and I may not have done anything to want you wanted to control over me other than being a black man who wants to be free in a so called free society. That's another something that we got to understand. We're not really free in this free society. We never was. We had limited amount of freedom and limited movement of freedom. That was our classification. And I think in truth that one of the biggest areas of discontent that white folks have with black folks as a whole, and particularly black men, that white folks feel they need to have control over black men and black folks in general. Again, as I will demonstrate, that's part of the Yakub methodology. Now, again, where did this type of mindset come from, and how was it developed so much into the mentality of white folks that today in 2024, this is May 2025, because I did this in 2024 when I first uploaded it. White folks are sounded the alarm that they want black folks out of America and or a race war. That's 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 what they barking at. You know, they talk about a civil war, but we know the civil war is on the back burner, but the race war is on the front burner. You say, well, how can that be? Well, it's simple. The Civil War is about the Republicans and the Democrats, the liberals and the conservatives, the far right, the far left, uh, the billionaires and the small money. You know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, the freedom of free speech versus non-freedom of free speech, the educated versus the non-educated. That's the Civil War. But you got 12 or 13 million black folks in America that technically they're not even free as they think they are in 2025. And Trump is, he's going down the line and uh, uh, erasing a lot of the civil rights uh, platforms that were in place ever since the civil rights was signed in '64. So 64, 24, what, 40 years? And he's trying to dismantle them. And I got to put this out there. I said this in my last presentation, but like I said, you couldn't hear me. Malcolm said, Malcolm said that civil rights shouldn't have been an issue that we tried to achieve. Human rights should have been an issue because human rights, you could take that to the World Court or the United Nations Court. And that was the thing that Malcolm was trying to stress when they was talking about the civil rights. It wasn't that he didn't appreciate the efforts of the civil rights movement, but he was like, human rights is the trump card over top of civil rights. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be called a human, you need human rights. Okay. All right. So now if I take you down this rabbit hole, and I spell it with a W, rabbit, looking for a spooky rabbit. I take you down this rabbit hole, know for certain that not only is it a deep rabbit hole, but it had many twists and turns that perhaps even Buzz Bunny might not know which way to go. Anyway, we will see how it goes. Buzz Bunny is supposed to be like any other rabbit, which is supposed to be able to survive either above the ground or underground. So for all intents and purposes, old Buzz Bunny is supposed to be right at home in this rabbit hole. Rabbit. Humans, on the other hand, may have a few problems. Ha ha ha. Yes, sir, family. All right, so if we keep it moving, um, one of the things that I was also hoping to bring into uh, this presentation is some of the stuff that I'm talking about. Of course, Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught it. Nation of Islam know about it. 5% people know about it. Doc York people know about it. But a lot of this information was purposely pushed away from by a large segment of our people just because they thought it was racist and they don't supposed to hate and da 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 da. But they never, except for a few, they never took time out just to read and look at and try to understand the information. Uh, because the information, when you started looking at it and comparing it, it does have some things about it that, I mean, some issues about it that make it make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, so let's okay, so we got to go after this mindset that the majority of white folks have been with and against black folks come from. And I said with and against for a reason. Because in order for to even have a mindset to be with or against someone, they must have a prejudge prejudge, and I separate the word prejudge for a reason. That's where prejudice comes from. They must have a prejudged ideology about that someone. In other words, in order for me to dislike you, my reason for dislike you must come from something either within myself, about my own self, or about you that you may not be aware of that I have that about you in my mind, right? Thus, if you have certain thoughts about someone, then that's going to translate into how you relate with that someone. We do it to ourselves all the time. I don't like that. And because we don't like that, you don't even want to speak to them. So, if that can translate with us amongst our own self, that can also translate to other races of people when it comes to us. I mean, I remember meeting a guy who was a who was a soldier in World War One or two. I can't whatever war it was that liberated the pale Jews out of Germany. Well, when they touched down over there, and they was on their little leave time and whatnot, they would go get the white German girls and whatnot. So the German girl would ask them, "Y'all help me take off y'all clothes, y'all help?" And they didn't. They thought that they were just trying to get their money. They was kind of wondering why they was wanting them to help me get undressed and whatnot, right? But they kind of found out that the American people had told them, according to this guy's narrative, that black men had tails because they come from monkeys. So the white girls, the white German girls, they wanted them to hurry up and take off their clothes so they could see if they had tails or not. Now they looking for that because somebody had put that in their mind. Okay, that's why there are certain instances when, especially during the wars, where America was actually going in and saving people, and the black GI was on the front. That's why a lot of those, especially Korea, a lot of those people, they took a liking to the black GIs because after they found out that they were people just like them, they were all about that, listening to what what white America say. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that in some cases, white America was talking down to them too. You know, but anyway, so so then you're gonna use those prejudged thoughts you have to form your mindset against the person or that person. I should have said that person. Therefore, how one thinks about someone will determine how they will act with or against someone. And that's basically what you have, family, with Caucasian people and their dislike for us. That's the Yakub mentality that's in them that won't let them succeed from trying to rule us, control us, demean us. And in my last presentation, I said, well, the first one I did, I said, it's just like the Terminator. The Terminator was pre-programmed to go after Sarah Connor to assassinate her. He was pre-programmed to do that. Nothing else mattered. That was his mission. That was his assignment. He was on a search and destroy mission to find this woman and destroy her. So Yakub programmed white folks to have a disliking for us. But they pre-programmed. I know that's a hard one, family, but we're gonna show you. As James Brown said, right about now. All right, family. Well, let's get this party started. We're on slide number 22. We got 40 more to go. And We get ready to go into bottom half of the 7 o'clock hour. So this platform is called J Moppet TV Experience, and 75% of the commentary is opinionated. Therefore, I will now go into what I strongly believe is the reasoning behind the white folks' mindset with and against black folks is the way it is. I also strongly believe that I know why the majority of black folks rejected the ideology without at least looking at the idea from a psychological standpoint. And that's a very important thing, family. That's very important. When the Honorable Muhammad came out with the teachings that white folks were the devil, a lot of our people couldn't deal with that. And I was listening to a lecture by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he said that it wasn't that white folks was the devil because they were white. He said they were the devil because of how they was brought into existence. And man, now I always have loved the Yakub teaching. Of all the, I know you, I know, I know you're not supposed to do that, but my favorite part of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaching was always Yakub. I loved that teaching. I don't know why. I loved it. I always liked it when I would find a YouTube video of the minister teaching it. I would listen to it. You know, um, but the minister said them being a devil had nothing to do with them being white, but it was how they was brought into existence. Again, the Terminator, who was assigned to eliminate Sarah Connors, he was a Terminator with an assignment. That assignment could have been given to him for somebody else, but that wasn't the case. So he wasn't a killer because he was a Terminator. He was a killer because he was a Terminator that had been given an assignment to terminate somebody. That's why they called him a Terminator. Same thing with Caucasian people. So one of the few black people to do so was Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And Dr. Welsing, she almost agreed with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Almost. And I'm thinking she didn't want to go down that path because of where her belief was. But she came very close to agreeing with him. But she was the first person that I know of. I'm not saying she was the only one. First person I know of that dealt with white folks, that white supremacist mindset from a psychological point of view, from a psychologist point of view. Dr. Wells. Now, she may not have been the only black scholar to look at the white folks' mindset towards black folks from a psychological perspective, but she is the one I've heard speak on myself. That I'm in Virginia. She came to Virginia, and I heard her speak. And before she transitioned, I was glad I was able to be a part of that. However, the main person I want to bring into this conversation is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Like I said, I use his book, The Message to the Black Man of America. So that's why I use his book more so than any other material. And I did a couple of bits and pieces from Dr. Wells, but mainly him. When you hear the name, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you're not familiar with the R surrounding his name, you may only know him by the organization he was the face of for nearly 40 years, the Nation of Islam. Some might say whenever I hear the Nation of Islam, I think of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Well, that's rightfully so. Others may say whenever I hear the Nation of Islam, I think of Brother Malcolm X. Again, rightfully so. Yeah, others might say whenever I hear the Nation of Islam, I think of Muhammad Ali. Again, I would have to say you're right and exact. However, those great black men, as well as all one of as as are all the result of one of the greatest black men ever to come to the on the scene in America and the world, and that is none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, even though I didn't join the nation, I always have to give this man, his spot because he was able to come on the scene and do a number on the mindset of black folks and white folks, but predominantly black folks. That's who he came to teach. Master Farad Muhammad rose him up to teach him for black folks. All right. Now, Dr. Wilson, Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, this is how she kind of almost uh, agreed with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. When she did her work, the ISIS paper, one of the things she talked about was the psych. I don't know if the right word psychosis is what I should use, but one of her psychological information about the Caucasian people was how they were genetically inferior to black folks. And this is not racist. This is what she was trying to put together, what she was trying to say. That genetic inferiority to us was based on the fact that we could create them, but they couldn't create us. Say it again. We could create them, but they couldn't create us. And so, as somebody said a while back during the time when I was a speed vendor, you know, we we helped them into existence, and we could help them out of existence. That just that's just cold hard fact, man. And see, if you know that about yourself, I mean, then you have to be mindful of how you navigate. It's like I got to take white folks' side on this one. If I'm in the jungle around lions and I know these lions can devour me, I got to find out a way to deal with these lions because I'm not trying to be that first, last, middle snack. I'm not trying to be none of their suppers, you know. So so to take white folks' side, if they understand that they are people that were brought into existence by a group of people that they don't like, and they can't bring them same group of people in existence their own self, that's a problem for them.